Educators and future educators. Today I'm going to be talking about the book, The Growth Mindset Playbook, written by Annie Brock and Heather Hundley. So I will go over three main concepts, some ways to implement those concepts, and some best practices to use with those concepts. So first, I will go over what the definition of a growth mindset is. So a growth mindset is the belief that with practice, perseverance, and effort, people have limitless potential to learn and grow. People operating in the growth mindset take on challenges with the understanding that making mistakes and failing are essential to growth. And I have a small quote over there that says, "Mistakes are proof that you're trying." So someone with a growth mindset embraces challenges, doesn't quit if it gets tough, persists in obstacles, sees that effort is necessary, learns from criticism, and doesn't get offended, and is inspired by others. So now that we talk about what growth mindset is, let's talk about what the opposite of growth mindset is, which is a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset is the belief that people are born with a fixed amount of intelligence and ability. People operating in the fixed mindset are prone to avoiding challenges and failures, thereby robbing themselves of a life rich in experience and learning. So someone with a fixed mindset avoids challenges at all costs, gives up easily when things get tough, sees effort as fruitless, ignores useful criticism or gets offended by it, and is threatened by others. And here's a quote on the side that says, "When you go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, a new world of possibilities opens up." So as teachers, we need to encourage and model the growth mindset in our classrooms. How can we do that? Well, the first thing we can do to encourage a growth mindset is by building positive relationships with our students. Having positive relationships with our students benefits both the student as well as the teacher. Some of the benefits of creating positive relationships are creating a great learning environment for students to learn in. Creating positive relationships increases engagement. Students learn to work well with one another and create friendships. It also helps build trust throughout the classroom. It is our job as teachers to find that amazing, unique specialness in each and every single one of our students. With us finding that, it will help them to see their limitless potential, their capacity for growth, and the power they hold within themselves to achieve incredible things. Research shows that developing relationships is an important first step in learning. Students are going to have a better learning environment and attitude towards learning when they have a positive relationship with their teacher. Here are just a few ways that we can build positive relationships with our students. Having a morning routine or a greeting. Either having a specific one with each student that they created, or everyone does the same. Either way, it will show your students that they are special and important to you. Having students write in journals to you. Maybe asking questions or just talking about their day and you responding to them. It also gives the students an opportunity to practice their writing skills. Kind of like a pen pal. Sharing your personal stories with your students about stuff they can relate to helps them connect to you. Students like nothing better than hearing stories about their teachers. An All About Me bag, or even an All About Me poster board, I've seen in a few classes, where the students bring a bag full of items that represent themselves, or they create a poster board with pictures and things like that you can hang up and share in the classroom. Having a positive relationship with your students will also help you understand when a student acts out. And is it because they're asking for help or they're just having a rough day? It'll help you understand why they are acting out. So here's a short, amazing video that I found on connections with our students.
The driver for learning is the social connection. Activating a child's cognitive skills begins with activating their social connectedness. Children in this school are starting the day with an adult saying to them, "I see you, I know you, I'm connecting with you, and you're important to me."
We start each day by greeting every kid at the door.
Good morning, Declan.
You look pretty, Miss Turner.
Thank you, baby. Guess what I say this weekend? Every classroom does some variation of would you like a high five, handshake, or hug? Essentially, it's what greeting would you like? How you doing, handsome? Good.
There is a great deal of cultural sensitivity and empowerment for children to say, here is how I want to greet you.
High five, handshake, or hug. You got your hair done? Good morning, Molly. You got your hair done? Let me just turn around. I love it. All right, we're gonna have a good day today? All right. High five, handshake, or hug. During that time, I'm just trying to connect with them. All right. Help them from the transition from home to school, and just kind of as like a pulse check to see where they are. Oh, I knew you wanted a hug. How are you feeling today, sir? Good. We gonna have a good day? Look at my eyes. Do they look escalated? Do they look triggered? Do they look upset? So it's a way for me to see, okay, who needs to be where? How can I help? How can I be assistance to start their day off most effectively? Good morning, Ariana. How you doing today? I'm being very intentional about my interactions with students, right? So it's not just I'm in the back of the room, hey, come in. No, I'm making a connection with them. I have eye contact with them. I'm checking in how they're doing. I'm checking to make sure they're okay. Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends. I think the impact is deep relationships. I get to know my students. I get to check in with them. I get to find out something about them. They get to find out something about me. We get to make a connection. And that starts with the greeting at the door. All right, come on in.
So a child is walking in the door feeling cared for, empowered, and encouraged. And that teacher is focusing in on who that child is. And that's how the day starts.
So the next thing we can do to cultivate a growth mindset in our classroom is by fostering a happy collaborative classroom, which goes hand in hand with building positive relationships. Some of the benefits of creating a happy collaborative classroom is that it builds trust within the entire classroom. Having students trust each other builds them a sense of community in the classroom. It will show your students that they are important and truly matter. It will help students create friendships. Group work will run much more smoothly also. Group learning is also a best practice that can be used. Group learning is cooperative learning that has been used for over 2 decades. Group learning allows students to learn from each other. Another benefit is that it shows students that it is okay to make mistakes, things happen, get back up and try again. Some ways to create a happy collaborative classroom is by using a similarities and differences strategy. There are a few ways this strategy can be incorporated into your classroom. One way is by using a parachute. The classroom may be too small for this, so maybe do it in the gym or out on the playground. I remember doing this in a few classes in elementary school, and how it works is the class would all hold this big parachute, and the teacher would make statements like, I have siblings, or I have a dog, or I have a cat. And when those statements are made, the students that have siblings would go underneath the parachute. So that way, they're underneath the parachute and the other students are holding up the parachute. And that way the students are able to see which similarities and which differences they have. And another way you can do that is in the classroom is you can assign spots or corners in the classroom and have the students go to those designated areas. So instead of going under the parachute, you can say the students that have a brother go to this corner of the room, and those students would go there. This strategy is very beneficial because it is letting students see what similarities and differences they each have and can hopefully be the start to creating relationships and connecting with one another. Another strategy to create a happy collaborative classroom is to do weekly journaling, which was also used in ways to build positive relationships, but journaling has so many benefits and can be used for so many strategies. Journaling is basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The students work on their writing skills and also build connections with their teachers. A fun thing you can do is have the students decorate and personalize their journals at the beginning of the year. In the journals, the students can write personal reflections, a Dear Teacher letter to let you know how they are feeling, a response to a quote, or even a question on something they had trouble understanding. The teacher will then read these journals and write back as a response. Some ways we can create opportunities for students to practice building social capital in the classroom is by making sure all group members are given an opportunity to talk. This will ensure there is not only one person driving the conversation and no one is left out. A way to teach students to encourage one another in the development is by having students share their goals with one another. It can be personal goals to education goals. Goals like reading a certain amount of books or learning your multiplication facts. This is a good way for students to see what goals their classmates are aiming for. It may even trigger some more ideas for goals for students that they want to achieve. It is also a good way to promote accountability for achieving those goals. And lastly, sharing personal stories about times we have struggled as teachers. Times we have struggled, we have failed, we made a mistake, we learned something new, and times we succeeded will let our students know that it is okay. We all make mistakes and then we learn from them. It will also ensure them that our classroom is a safe learning environment. And this leads to our last concept, which is increasing student engagement. So first off, I'm going to show the video because it explains how student engagement is important. So we'll watch that first.
The anatomy of student engagement. Teachers know that students learn best when they are engaged. But it is an elusive concept, difficult to measure, and easily confused with students attending to their work as required. The biggest problem with student learning is not the content. It's that the students are bored with how it's taught. What is engagement? How can we tell if our students are engaged? Can we decisively plan a lesson that will engage them? How can I coach other teachers and explain to them how they can improve their engagement factor? Through the use of real classrooms, you will see examples of engaging lessons. You will hear expert observational analysis pinpointing precisely what made them work at high levels of engagement for the students.
Did you watch the students as they solved that problem? Did you watch their faces? Did you see some of this? Did you see them looking? Did you see them turning to one another? Did you see? That's engagement. These kids are totally wrapped up in solving that text structure game. Yes, I think it met all 3 points of engagement. I think you probably saw it too. They were thinking and problem solving. Those little brains were really going.
You will learn the criteria for engagement, the role of the teacher, how to facilitate true discussion, and much more. After watching this program, you will have confidence in designing activities and lessons that will get students really thinking and problem solving. Become more aware of the hooks that will interest students. Make your lessons truly relevant.
All right, so talk to me about what you guys are doing. Okay. So we've been working on what is the difference between the Earth and the Moon, and specifically like with structures. You know, there's a lack of oxygen, there's a lack of atmosphere to protect us from the meteors that are coming in. You have to talk about the lack of full gravity, because the Moon only has 1/6 the gravity that Earth does. So knowing all of those differences, how would you then build a 3D structure
Okay, those
on
will
the
be the
Moon?
solar panels.
Yeah. So Josue, where are those solar panels going?
We're gonna probably use a straw, cut it, and like support it up,
Okay, so I love it. So tell me why you're putting it at an angle.
cause so the sun can like actually hit it directly.
Right, so when we were talking about the seasons and why the Earth has seasons, the summer is hotter because the Earth's what?
Tilt.
Because of the tilt. So you want to get that. My biggest soapbox, as you would say, is that students need to stop being required to just memorize facts. Now we need to get kids to think. We need to get them to problem solve. We need to build that creativity back in school that had been taken.
The key is getting students' brains cognitively active, getting them to interact with the material. We all love to see our kiddos light up with new understanding. We will share some tried and true strategies for getting kids' cognitive wheels spinning and take a look at how to find the evidence of engagement. The results of all this engagement is both higher levels of learning and more fun for our students.
So a quick review of what some of the benefits of student engagement are. is it stops students from getting bored during lessons. It lets students practice their thinking skills instead of memorizing facts. It also lets them practice their problem-solving skills. It keeps their brains cognitively active, and it promotes a higher level of learning. And last but surely not least, it simply makes learning fun. And here are some ways that we can increase student engagement in our classrooms. One thing is that we need to remember that there is a difference between entertained and engagement. A way to keep students engaged is to keep it student-centered. Use lab rotations, centers, and small groups to keep instruction student-centered. We need to create an experience that is open-ended and allows students to use their uniqueness in each lesson, not just using the old-fashioned teacher, lecture, and students take notes lessons. Rubrics are also a great way to increase student engagement. Instead of using rubrics that take a long time to create and are hard for students to follow, try using a growth mindset approach by creating guidelines that provide multiple pathways to success. Not a one-size-fits-all rubric. By keeping rules to a minimum, it promotes the students' creativity. This will be a better approach because students will be able to be as creative as they want with the assignment, which makes them want to do the assignment. It will cause the students to be much more engaged in the assignments in general. So in summary, we talked about what a growth mindset is, what a fixed mindset is, the benefits of building positive relationships and ways to do so, fostering a happy collaborative classroom, and some strategies to incorporate into your classroom. And lastly, the importance of increasing student engagement and how to go about doing so. As a future educator, I will be using these strategies in teaching and modeling a growth mindset in my future classroom. Thank you for watching and listening, and take care.